Hello friends, welcome back to my channel for another math lesson. Sorry that I wasn't able to post in the past 2 weeks. I just kind of gave myself a little bit of a break to get motivated and stuff again. So this week's lesson will be about order of operations. If you guys have any questions about the topics covered in today's video, please make sure to ask me in the comments below or ask on one of my Twitter, or you guys can ask me on Instagram. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's go. So the first thing I kind of wanted to get out of the way is defining two terms. So what is order of operations? So order of operations is the rules established to evaluate an expression involving more than one operation. So then you guys may be asking, what is an operation? In a mathematical sense, operations are things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, which hopefully you guys have learned very prior to Algebra 1 and stuff. So just a rule to help with order of operations, I will give you guys a very simple rule that kind of covers the order of operations. So this rule is called PEMDAS. So P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. If you guys go watch my last video, it's about exponents, and that will be a very useful thing to know prior to this video, or else you might be kind of lost. So yeah, I would definitely recommend go watching that. I'll link it in the description below, or I'll also link it in the iCard above, so go to either one and watch the video before you watch this one. So here are just kind of the steps that we use for PEMDAS, or PEMDAS, doesn't matter. So the first step is do the operations within the parentheses or the grouping symbols. This is kind of what the parentheses look like, and if you want to type, if it's typed, then most times it will kind of look like this. I am also aware that in order of operations, they can also use brackets. However, I don't think that's very common, at least in my years of middle school. That hasn't been very common at all. So I'm just gonna teach you guys about parentheses first, and then you guys can worry about brackets later because you don't really use that often in my experience. And then the second step is to evaluate and simplify the exponents and the powers. I covered this in my last video, so go check that out once again. Then do multiplication and division from left to right. And then finally do addition and subtraction from left to right. I'll explain that later. I kind of tried and color code it. So P parentheses is red, E exponents is green, M and D, which are multiplication and division, are orange, and then A and S, which are addition and subtraction, are blue. So here we have the first example, and this example is 2 plus parentheses 15 times 2 and parentheses minus 3 squared, or 3 to the second power, whatever you prefer. So first here in this equation, we do have parentheses actually right here. In the parentheses, we have 15 times 2, and we have to do that first, and it's multiplication. So you would do 15 times 2, which is equal to 30. So then you would end up with 2 plus 30 minus 3 squared. Now, you would not actually do 2 plus 30 because that's not how order of operations really works. In this specific problem, while you could get away with doing addition first, 2 plus 30 first, and you get the same answer, even though you got the right answer, you didn't technically do it the correct way. And I feel like many teachers will take points off for that. Do exponents first before you do addition and subtraction. Just wanted to emphasize that because it's just really important, you know? So here we have an exponent, which is 3 to the second power, and this is an operation and not a negative. because if you wanted to make this a negative, then they would have put this in like parentheses, and then they would have probably done this. Then it would be -3. However, that's definitely not the case. So this is not -3, but this is -3. So this is an operation, not a negative. Just wanted to make that clear just because I know how confusing that is, and that'll change your whole answer if you make it a negative instead of a minus. So yeah, 3 to the second power is just 9. So you get 9 right here. Then what you would do is you would minus a 30. So you would get 2 plus 30 minus 9. However, in this specific equation, 2 plus 30 minus 9, there isn't really any multiplication or division left to do. So you can just do the addition and subtraction. And I will say, it really does matter whether you do addition and subtraction left to right, because there are examples where if you do like the addition and subtraction in like a random order, it will not work. So you always have to solve from 2 to 30 and then that number, and then you minus that by 9. So here you would get 2 plus 30, which is equal to 32 if you guys do the addition. Then you would minus 9, which is equal to, if you guys just do like the simple math, you get 23. Here you guys can just like hopefully get it. I know there wasn't any multiplication or division to like do in the equation. However, in the next question there will be, so don't worry. So yeah, hopefully you guys were able to keep like everything in the mind, like what negative numbers look like and like what a subtraction looks like. I will be making a video about negative numbers and exponents and stuff soon, so wait for that. So yeah, we will just be moving on to the next question. So here's the second example. This is 10 divided by 2 to the first power plus 5 parentheses 5 minus 4 close parenthesis. So here what you would do, once again, you have to always do anything within the parentheses first, like no exception. Regardless of what the operation inside the parentheses is, you still have to do what's in the parentheses first before you do anything else. Like, I know I said that you have to do multiplication and division before you do subtraction and addition, but in this case, it's in the parentheses, so you have to do what's in the parentheses first. You would do 5 minus 4, which is pretty easy, hopefully, which is just 1. And then you would get 10 divided by 2 to the first power plus 1. And then, do you guys remember what we do second? Second thing you have to do is the exponents. So you have to evaluate and simplify the exponents first. I mean, after you do the parentheses, of course. Yeah, if you guys watched my last video about exponents, you guys will know that anything to the first power is just going to be the number itself. 2 in this case is the base number, so you can kind of just think of this as just 2. So then you would get 10 divided by 2 plus 1. Then here you would not actually do 2 plus 1 first. You would have to do the division, because there is division in this equation, unlike the last one. So this is where the order of operations really matters. So you always have to do 10 divided by 2 or the division first. So you will get 5. So then you would just end up with 5 plus 1. And then you could just do the addition, which equals to 6. So therefore, 10 divided by 2 to the first power plus parenthesis 5 minus 4 is equal to 6. So that is it for the quiz. Hopefully you guys were able to kind of get everything. And also another thing I kind of wanted to clarify, I am aware that some places do teach like GEMDAS or something, but that's not really something that like ever been taught before. So this is just about PEMDAS, and this is probably the most common, I would say. So now we're going to move on to the advanced room. So let's go. So now we are in the advanced room. This is basically just the quiz. Math is not fun if you don't get it. So if you don't get it, rewatch the video as many times as you need. Watch it until it's fun and it's easy for you. This quiz is just going to be a short, quick 3 questions. However, every question will have a lot of detail to it. I will give you guys 5 seconds to answer. And if you guys need more, which you definitely will, pause the video and just take your time, honestly. Don't rush it. You don't need to finish in 5 seconds because you won't. So yeah, this equation is 1 minus 500 to the 0th power times parentheses 7 plus 3 end parentheses. So I will just give you guys 5 seconds to answer this question. Done. So remember, you always have to do parentheses first. There is literally no exception about it. If there's not parentheses, do exponents. But if there's parentheses, do the parentheses first. Like, that's just kind of like required. No exceptions about it. There will like practically never be any exception for that. So just do parentheses first. You get 10. So the equation right now is 1 minus 500 to the 0th power times 10. Then what you do is, no, you do not do 500 to the 0th power times 10. You do exponents, because after parentheses comes exponents. So this minus is a subtraction sign. It's a minus sign. It's not a negative sign. Yeah, I'm just going to write it because it's not, and I want to emphasize that point because it's a very common mistake, and I understand. It's a personal struggle. What you would do here is you would just do 500 to the 0th power. If you guys watched my last video about exponents, you guys will know any number to the 0th power is just 1. There's just like no exception about it. The number can be 1 to the 0th power. It's going to be 1. The number can be 9,759. To the 0th power, it's going to be 1. No matter how big or small the number is, if it's to the 0th power, it's going to be 1. Wanted to emphasize that because once again, it's super important. So you get 1 minus 1 times 10. Next, you do not do 1 minus 1 next. That will get you 0, and 0 times 10 is 0, and that's not the answer. What you would do here is multiplication or division. In this case, it's multiplication. You would once again not do negative 1 times 10 because it will get you the same answer, but it's not technically correct. You did it the wrong way. So what you have to do is just 1 times 10, and that is 10. And then what you would do is you would just do 1 minus 10, which is equal to negative 9. So the final answer to this question is negative 9. Good job. Hopefully you got that correct. Now we will be moving on to the second question. So the second question is parentheses 2 times 8 and parentheses plus 7 squared minus 10. Once again, I will just give you guys another 5 seconds to try and figure this one out. Done. So once again, there are parentheses. Now, I'm not saying every single equation on this planet will have parentheses. However, if they do, then you have to solve it first. Sorry, I keep emphasizing that, but it's so important that you need to know it. What you would do first is you would do 2 times 8 because it's in the parentheses, and you would get 16. So you would just get 16 plus 7 squared minus 10. Now, you guys can see there is a exponent, and that is 7 squared. If you guys do 7 squared, you get 49, correct. you can kind of think as 7 squared as 7 times 7, because you're timesing 7 by itself 2 times, 1, 2, and that equals 49. Good job. So you would get 16 plus 49 minus 10. Now you would have to do multiplication and division. However, once again, there's no multiplication and there's no division in this equation, so you don't need to do it. You can just skip it and go to addition and subtraction. What you see first is you would get 16 plus 49, and for that you would get, let's just do the math quickly together. 16 plus 49 is 65. Then you minus that by 10, and that is equal to 55. So the final answer to this question is 55. If you guys got it right, then I'm very glad you did. I'm very proud of you, because once again, this is not an easy thing to grasp and, master. So if you got it right, then good job. Finally, we are on to the last question of the day. So this one is a little bit longer. However, if you guys know it, then you know. So yeah, this one is 15 minus 3 times 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed, doesn't matter, plus parentheses 2 plus 9 and parentheses. This is maybe a little bit of a harder question, but hopefully you guys can get it. So once again, I'll just give you guys another 5 seconds. Done. So for this one, once again, there is parentheses. So you'd have to do what's in the parentheses, which is 2 plus 9. And that gives you 11. So the equation so far would be 15 minus 3 times 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed, once again, doesn't matter, plus 11. Now, you would not do 15 minus 3. You would have to do the exponents first, which is 2 cubed. And if you guys do 2 cubed, then you just get 8. Once again, you can kind of think as 2 cubed as 2 times 2 times 2. Because you have to do 2 times itself 3 times. So you get 1, 2, 3. 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. So you would have to get 15 minus 3 times 8 plus 11. Now what you would do, once again, you would still not do 15 minus 3, and you would also not do 8 plus 11. You also would not do negative 3 times 8. You would just have to do 3 times 8, not negative 3 times 8, because that's a different thing, and that's not the same. So if you guys just do the simple multiplication, you get 24. Then you would have to get 15 minus 24 plus 11. In this case, once again, you can just do addition and subtraction from left to right. 15 minus 24 is equal to negative 9, and then you will get plus 11, and that equals to just simply 2. Perhaps the hardest question, but the simplest answer. So just before we move on to the outro and I end the video, I just want to emphasize the importance of adding and subtracting from left to right, because if you guys just did, like 15 minus 24 plus 11, you guys cannot do 24 plus 11 first, because that will give you, yes, it is 35. And if you guys do 15 minus 35, that literally gives you negative 20. So you really cannot go out of order. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe learned quite a few things in this video. Hopefully I was able to explain everything decently, and if you don't get it, that's okay, because it's a new concept and you guys can just watch the video over again, and if you still don't get it, then ask me in the comments below and I will totally explain it to you. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure to go follow my Instagram and my Twitter to get updated whenever I post. I try and update you guys as much as I can. And also make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, so that way whenever I post, you guys will get a new notification. And also thank you guys so much for 15 subscribers. I'm grateful for every person who has subscribed to my channel, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye!